FTW Podcast, the wrestling world in all its laughable glory. My name is Harrison, and with me, as always, is Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Hey.
Lee, say hello, Lee. Just say hello, don't sing that goddamn song.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it. It's such a good song. What's wrong with you?
We've had to deal with this all through the pre-show, guys.
Mike, save us.
Hey guys, it looks like the late 90s has finally made it to London.
Oh, that's so funny. I'm nowhere near London. Fuck you, boy.
That's how little I care about you and your stupid country.
Oh, and you and your massive fucked up country, yeah.
And Garvin is manning the boards. Tonight is episode number 135, and it's coming to you live on October 9th, 2012. And tonight we talk WWE Gets No Love, Punk Gets a Shove, and the rest of the week that was in WWE and TNA. If you're new to the show, check out theftwpodcast.com for more about us and how to get involved in tonight's show, as well as upcoming shows. You can reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, voicemail, text message, email, etc. And we even have a new one that I'm going to go in just a few minutes. But you can check out everything. It's listed right there at theftwpodcast.com. First big announcement, though, is that we are beta testing basically a forum. What we decided to do is we have a lot of disparate discussions on Twitter, Facebook, and etc. like that. And they're great because it's instant interaction with you guys. However, what we found is that you guys see something interesting, and only we really know about it. You don't really talk amongst yourselves. So we decided what we're going to do is we're going to harken back to 1998 and open our own forum. You can head to ftwpodcast.com/talk. It's on there. We're beta testing it right now. Make an account. You can go ahead. I think you can tie in your Facebook and your Twitter account if you don't really want to make a brand new account. You have to remember a new password. So you can try that out. We have a few different things going on there, and really we're just kind of testing it out. So what I would suggest is hop on there, talk about anything you want as far as wrestling goes, join some discussions, see how things are going. Eventually we just want to feel out how this is working, if you guys like it and that kind of stuff. So definitely check it out, ftwpodcast.com/talk. First up, we're just going to dive real quick into the draft and then move on to your reaction. ftwdraft.com for all the stuff about the draft. First up, we got the top 5 wrestlers. Wait, this hasn't been updated. This is from week 8 last week. Right.
It's updated.
It is?
Yeah, I updated it.
I thought for sure Lee was going to break in the 100 points by now.
Nope.
Yeah, I had a bad week because Sheamus decided to fucking lose on WWE, man.
Right.
He became a jobber.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I am so sorry about that.
Lee's not better than me.
I thought for sure Lee was going to crack 100 points this week. All right, so yeah, Sheamus is at 41.5. Ryback's at 33.5. Orton's at 31. Kane and D-Bry, Team Awesome, is tied at 29. Lee's got 98.5 points. Man, I thought for sure you're going to break into the 100. Mike's sitting at 69 and chasing you down pretty quick. Radio Influence on Twitter is at 62.5. Joe's got 57 points, and RKO Voices and Connor are tied at 50. But the team FTW, is at 404 points to your piddly 319. I really cannot wait until we get to basically over 100 points on you guys. It's going to be fantastic. Moving on, though, to last week's reaction, episode 134. Before 40, basically had some interesting points that I wanted to bring up as far as Hell in a Cell. He said, why not have the tag title match actually performed inside the Hell in a Cell? They could have the Devil's Playground without you can't really have the Devil's Playground without the Devil's favorite demon. Do you see them doing a Hell in a Cell tag match with the end of this tournament there? What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean they got to fit in the they got to fit in the Hell in a Cell gimmick somehow, and it would make sense to do it that way. Yeah, I can definitely see them doing that.
You don't think it would be too gimmicky with the tournament, or do you think it basically is kind of a natural fit?
It's a gimmick pay-per-view. Why not use the gimmick? I mean, I don't see any reason for any of the other matches to really need the cell, but if you're gonna do the pay-per-view, you might as well do the pay-per-view.
Okay. All right, that's not a problem. Lee, Rob, you guys got a point about that?
Yeah. After you, please, Rob. No, after you, please, Rob. Please.
No, I insist.
Okay, fine. I think if they did the tag team they ended it in the Hell in a Cell, it would just be too much in one night. You can only have a certain amount of Hell in a Cell matches in one night, and I think one more in addition to Sheamus versus Big Show and the WWE title one, that would just be too much because they won't have any unique ideas on how to do it. So no, just 2 is enough.
All right, Rob, you got a point about that?
Yeah, I think Lee hit it right on the head. I mean, you can only the WWE has it in their little rule book. You can only have so many matches. I don't see where putting the tag team title match in Hell in the Cell would add anything to the pay-per-view and would start to kind of drag things down.
Yeah, chat's kind of got 2 points coming out that basically are two sides of the same coin, which is that having multiple Hell in a Cell matches dilutes the potency of the gimmick, as if WWE cares. But at the same time, I mean, it would, like they're saying, chat does say that it would save Hell in a Cell pay-per-view if they did do that. Right now, the pay-per-view does look kind of weak, and I gotta be honest, it does look kind of thin, especially if the rumors are true. We're not going to see Cena Punk. That kind of kills it a little bit.
We will see Cena Punk. We'll see Cena Punk. I'm telling you now, we will see Cena Punk.
Yeah, that's my prediction as well.
All right,
but I think they diluted the potency of the gimmick by having this pay-per-view. I mean, usually you save steel cage matches or Hell in a Cell matches for these blood feuds that couldn't be contained in the ring or too many run-ins and all that. But by having this pay-per-view where they're forced to book around this cage instead of having it happen naturally, I mean, that kills the gimmick more than anything. So, I mean, at this point, yeah, it's like, who cares? Might as well have, not all be cage matches, but have all the big matches be cage matches on the pay-per-view.
But can the writing team not write around, because they know the pay-per-view's coming up, they can write around the fact, and they can naturally lead it by writing naturally towards it. But if you have a pay-per-view full of Hell in a Cell, I think TNA did like a pay-per-view, didn't it? For that was chock-a-block full of one particular, was it a steel cage match? Yeah, it was steel cage gimmick all the time, and it was an absolute nightmare. So doing like a full Hell in a Cell pay-per-view itself it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, I agree. They should have, looked into it months ago and started building these feuds. But there's no reason for Sheamus and Big Show to be in a Hell in a Cell. Based off of what's been happening with Cena and Punk, there's no reason for them to be in a cell.
No, the chat actually does want to kick. The chat actually does want to kick this question to you guys. With Sheamus and Show, basically Sheamus versus Show opening the pay-per-view in the cage. Real quick, just immediate thoughts on that. I mean, what do you guys think about that, Lee?
It's well, judging by how WWE have booked it, not for the last couple of pay-per-views, but before that, it could happen. And probably it all depends what other matches are on the pay-per-view, because then you've got to work a structured card. So it could, it's possible, but I don't think it'd be the right move to do
that. Okay, Rob.
Yeah, I'm with Lee here. I don't think that'd be a good move. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that the WWE will do it, though.
Do you know what opened the very first Hell in a Cell pay-per-view?
Was
CM Punk versus The Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, for the world title back in 2009.
Yeah, I know, but it's like it's a bit different now because they don't have. I don't think they have the same type of card now than they do then. I think this is going to be a completely different pay-per-view.
Okay, well, a lot of this we can save for the actual pay-per-view pre-show discussion. The other thing they want to talk about is Black Rock 316 said there have been reports about Bruce Pritchard not being a fan of women's wrestling, which explains the state of the Knockouts division. Basically he asks, do they need to get rid of the Knockout tag team titles with with the head writer not really caring about the division and the division being so thin with women as it is? What do you think, real quick, your gut reaction, Lee?
I'd get rid of it. I really would get rid of it. I don't see the point in it anymore. I think I don't necessarily agree with the whole Bruce Pritchard, divas thing. I mean, you can say what you want, to be fair, but only he will know. But I don't think they need that title. I think the whole emphasis a couple of years ago on the Knockouts has now clearly faded away. Okay,
Rob, what do you think?
I think Bruce Pritchard needs to be beaten about the head with a bat, but outside of that, Lee's dead on. The Knockout tag titles really serve no purpose. Get rid of them.
Now, has the Knockouts division is as good as people said it was like 2 or 3 years ago, or has it really fallen off?
There's like 4 active wrestlers maybe in the Knockouts division at the moment.
Yeah, it's not as great as it once was.
It makes the WWE Divas division look good.
No, it doesn't. My thing is, I don't remember.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, When ODB came out 2 weeks ago, she didn't have ODB and EY. Did they have the titles on them when they came out? I don't remember seeing them.
I think the first time they came out, they did. I haven't seen them lately.
Yeah, I want to say like since they first did their reunion segment, I remember them having the belts there. But her match 2 weeks ago, I don't remember seeing it. And I don't think since then we've seen it. Oh God, Stu Ball version 1 said wants us to talk about the Slater Mahal McIntyre thing and what basically they're doing with that. They've all been pretty absent. It doesn't look like they're going anywhere worthwhile, and now they're in a stable. Mike, what do you think about that?
Well, it's just something for them to do on the lower card. I don't think too much of it. Yeah, it's just something for them to do.
Okay. Anybody else disagree with? Anybody else disagree with that?
I don't disagree with it, but I just think the whole thing is, why should we care unless there's a reason behind it? And there's been no, we've had it 2-3 weeks in a row now. We need a reason to care.
Okay, no, that's fair. Rob, you got any final points before we move on?
No, I pretty much agree with what Mike and Lee have said on the whole matter.
Okay. Barrett534 said, basically said it's almost certain that Ryback is going to be involved in CM Punk's Hell in a Cell match. He could walk to the ring halfway through the match and do that look at Punk, laugh, and then attack Cena, forming a stable with CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, Heyman, and Ryback, which would just be really, really absurd if that's the case. But man, more power to you if this happens. Captain Monotone, what?
I was just about to say, if that probably won't happen anymore now because of the fact CM Punk got pretty much attacked by Ryback, so I've wiped that out the window.
So that's what you think?
I think they're going all in with Ryback as a top babyface act. I don't see him joining any kind of stable with them, or even if they'll do some kind of stable.
Okay, yeah, that sounds a lot more likely than to take basically, Ryback and flip him 180 and then make him heel out of nowhere. Captain Monotone said, I won't go anywhere near a PG-rated Attitude Era DVD. You are not the only one, if our comments are anything to go by. Same reason why I won't go near the recent PG-rated ECW DVD. I'll stick to buying the WWE Tagged Classic DVDs. That's probably a pretty fair idea. It makes me really wonder if this Attitude Era DVD is really going to be any good, if they're going to do everything there. So that everything is, what whatever all the rumors are anyway. Cold Rain 861 said Kaz and Daniels versus AJ and Angle was the best tag team match in years. They were the biggest highlight, along with Samoa Joe versus Austin Aries' Slammiversary. I doubt that any WWE tag team could do what they did. What do you guys think of that? I mean, the idea that Kaz Daniels, AJ and Angle could do a better match than anything that WWE could string together.
Arguably, the WWE already have when, we had a whole bunch of tag teams about, we're going back 10, 12 years now, but TNA's like little tag team division then as such, it was, it was on fire as such, and some great teams, but I think it's more, no, I don't think you can really compare them. I think they're very, very different styles.
Well, okay, but I mean, Rob, you watch a lot of TNA wrestling. Do you really think there are that it's a difference in styles, and can you really say that one's better than the other?
The argument's going to be made by fans either way, but when you get right down to it, WWE has a different style of forming tag teams. TNA's adopted that style a little bit. TNA's relying on quality over quantity. They're relying on a few good tag teams as opposed to a lot of tag teams that may or may not be so good. I can see where Lee's argument has some merit that you can't really compare the two styles, but I will agree that Angle AJ versus Kaz Daniels was one of the best tag team matches in years.
Okay, but are you sticking with Lee as far as it's a different style or no?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Lee pretty much that it's really hard to compare them.
Okay, that's fair. Moving on to Impact Wrestling, Rob. What was your absolute favorite thing about Impact?
My absolute favorite thing about Impact, I suppose, would have to be just out of shits and giggles. I guess it's when they formed the team. Sting and Bully Ray taking on Aces and Eights. I'm not quite sure about that team, but it's going to make for an interesting match.
Yeah, that was the
Oh,
question I had. We had Chris Burrington commented about that specifically. Basically, what he said is that do you think the TNA should have waited till next week to reveal that Bully Ray was Sting's true partner going into BFG? Because here's where he's coming from. Chris is coming from the point of view that as soon as he came out, he got the instant vibe of there's the leader. Taking out Anderson, then moments later coming out and demanding an open spot. He feels that if they waited, it could have raised the question, will Anderson get better for Bound for Glory? I got to watch next week's episode to find out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And also it would have built more momentum for Bound for Glory instead of thinking that he's the leader of Aces and Eights. Do you agree with that? Do you think that now they kind of like tipped their hand a little bit?
Yeah, I do. And if Bully Ray doesn't get attacked, you've got to ask yourself the question why. I mean, Aces and Eights now knows who they're facing, and they have one show before the pay-per-view to do something about it.
is it just me though, Rob, or is Bully Ray always been a contender? For me, I've said it from the start. I've always thought he's the leader, and it just to me, it always seemed like him. Way before this show.
Yeah. I mean, you've almost seen Bully Ray slip into a face mode over this. He's really been one of the leaders against Aces and Eights. He's really stepped out of his traditional bully mode, like when he warned Joseph Parks, "Hey, be careful! You don't know these kind of people, but I do." He's definitely seemed to be a contender. Personally, I would have preferred somebody other than Sting, but Sting and Bully Ray should make for an interesting team.
Yeah,
Okay. No, go on, Lee.
yeah, it'll be interesting, but I don't want Sting to come out as kind of the heel. I know the chance I won't, but just Sting as a heel for me just does nothing. Like, literally nothing.
Okay.
How would
Jeff said they
Sting
had to.
be a heel?
Say again?
How would Sting be a heel?
Like, I know how daft it sounds, but if he managed to end up, the leader of the Ace and Eights or part of it,
Oh, I see
I
what
know,
you're saying.
Oh, okay.
yeah, not like, not.
Yeah, okay.
That's my
Yeah.
prediction.
That's not that. There's no
Go
way.
away.
Sting's heel is it was never as good as Sting's face. Chet's saying they had to give us something about Aces and Eights. I mean, how long has this gone with like zero reveals? And there have been reveals. They've just been all incidental and accidental, and for people that we don't know. Do you think? I mean, they got to turn the corner at this some point. I mean, do you think that Bound for Glory is going to be that moment where we kind of see that big payoff, or do you think this is going to be another one of those classic long-term wrestling storylines where it just kind of loses momentum like a car running out of gas?
I don't know. I think we're definitely going to see some type of resolution at at Bound for Glory. I mean, the storyline for Aces and Eights has gone on long. It's dominated a lot of Impact shows. It's forced a lot of TNA talent to reduce their camera time. I think TNA is getting to the point where they realize they have to do something with the storyline. They just can't keep going.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on to another topic. Samoa Joe versus RVD. Chat's saying they really, really, really like that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it was a great match. RVD didn't phone a match in for once, which is always a good thing. And Samoa Joe was just fucking Samoa Joe. And it's awesome to see TNA just pat Joe on the back and say, go out there and beat somebody to death.
Okay. Can I counter argue that now? I know. I'd love counter arguing you, Rob, but why, if you're saying TNA would pat him on the back, why not give him a better title than the TV title?
Because right now, TNA has done such a fantastic job of destroying the man's credibility and his character. You need a title like the TV title where it's guaranteed he's going to be on TV every week to help rebuild that image.
You could have had Jeff, you could have swapped Jeff Hardy for Samoa Joe against Austin Aries, and it could have gained
Well,
Mark a bit
look, like that. Now we're starting to get into that whole thing that we talk about every week, which is why isn't Samoa Joe getting the push that he always gets? And we get back to the thing of maybe he's getting his own way or whatever. Maybe he's getting in his own way or something like that. Chat also thought that Lex and Daniels were hilarious. The World Tag Team Champions of the world are always good.
No, they're
Also
not.
saying.
No, they're not. Just,
They also said. I'm sorry, go on.
No. Whoever said that needs to no. Just you're wrong. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, well, kicking back to the Samoa Joe thing, what about flipping that on its head? What if they want to use Samoa Joe to make the TV title credible? Chat's saying that basically that could be the reason why they did it, to basically make the TV title matter. We haven't seen it on TV in a while, so they're saying, like you're saying right here, Samoa Joe will upgrade after the TV title run and goes for the world title, giving credibility to that as the avenue to get after, the World Heavyweight title belt. What do you think about that, Rob?
Too. That's completely viable. I mean, the TV title, Legends title, I don't know what the fuck they called it before that title. It has less than no credibility. It's been a joke in TNA for a long time. Devon was starting to build some credibility to the title, but then he got sidelined because the Bound for Glory series tournament took precedence. So I could see them saying, okay, we have to build up the TV title. Let's put it on Joe because he can carry it for a bit.
Okay.
I thought they had a good idea with having TV title actually defended every week. I thought that was really good. But yeah, once that Bound for Glory series started, they put that on the back burner pretty quick. My thought is I think they're trying to rebuild Joe back up, and start him at the bottom, start him kind of not the bottom, but something lower, not something that's high profile. But how many times have they tried to build up Joe?
Yeah, that's true. Real quick, chat wants to point out that once again they come through in a clinch, in a clinch. Said that the TV title used to be the TNA, clutch move from the chat. TNA title used to be the TNA Legend title, and before that, the Global title.
Thank you. I knew it was called something before the Legend. Thank you, chat room.
There you go. All right, moving on to main event. This was the inaugural main event show on Ion Television. Mike reviews it for PW Torch, so he's going to review it for us now too. Aren't you guys so very, very special? Take it away, Mike.
It was a good debut for main event. They really just focused on the top two, or the two champions of the company, Sheamus and CM Punk. The first 20 minutes of the show, they just went to video packages of highlights of CM Punk, who he is, what he's about, the top names that he's beaten. They even showed some clips from the indie scene, stuff that would be like on his DVD. They kind of did the same thing for Sheamus, where they showed clips from his career in WWE. Then they went to the champion versus champion match, and that was I thought it was a good match. A lot of people thought it was average. It kept both guys strong. I thought with the 20 minutes they went, it was a good match. I enjoyed it a lot. Then they ended the show with a kind of throwaway tag team match: Justin Gabriel and Tyson Kidd versus Santino and Zack Ryder. Santino and Zack won in about 5 minutes. It was a good debut show for main event on Ion, and hopefully they can keep up with those kind of main event matches to do on there, and it doesn't turn into something like Superstars, where it started off with having decent matches, and then after a few months they kind of lost interest in it and just started throwing jobbers on there and made it a throwaway show.
Yeah, that's what Chad was saying, that they did watch main event and it was good, and they want to push mid-card guys to it and kind of give them spotlights. That kind of runs into that whole Superstars thing where you can have, like you're saying, jobbers, but not so much jobbers. But I mean, what kind of mid-card talent would you want to take away from Raw and SmackDown and kind of shift them over to main event? I mean, and it's only an hour, so you think in main event it has to have at least a main event match, hopefully with main event contenders, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I mean, you could throw anyone in like the IC title hunt or the US title hunt in there as a backup match. I mean, I think I shouldn't say that it was a throwaway match, because the tag match they had was for the in the tag title tournament. So I guess it did have some kind of repercussions to it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't want to see this turn into, Michael McGillicuddy taking on Primo in the main event in 6 months.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Unless they really shoot those up and comers to the top.
Chet's saying that if they keep up with the main event level matches, it will accelerate the oversaturation that we already get from Raw, SmackDown, and a pay-per-view. Do you see that being a problem? That we'll have we'll basically have, if there's a pay-per-view week, 4 shows of either seeing, essentially right now, Punk and Sheamus?
Oh, before the show even came on the air, there was an oversaturation. I mean, now this is an oversaturation, but just kind of take it for what it's worth. If you're a fan of wrestling, you'll watch the show, and hopefully they can put on some quality matches.
Okay, so what do you see going forward? You holding any promise for it?
I think we'll see where they're at come Survivor Series or Royal Rumble, how they keep up with this show.
Basically, when they're not building directly towards a pay-per-view that's coming up?
No, just to see after a few weeks if they still have the interest in the show of keeping it a main event, or having a main event match on there, having the stars show up.
Okay, no, that's fair. All right, so moving on to SmackDown. Once again, we're turning to the SmackDown correspondent for PW Torch. Mike, what was your absolute favorite thing about SmackDown?
Surprisingly, it was the women's match. Layla and she defeated Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox really surprised me in that match, busting out some moves that I did not think she had in her. She did a Northern Lights suplex, which I haven't seen that from anyone in WWE for, since Mr. Black used to do it 5 years ago.
Well, the thing about Alicia Fox is she had a Superstars match a few weeks ago that all of us on the show were just like gobsmacked about how good it was. So it's really nice to see Alicia Fox kind of stepping up her game, like you're saying, and busting on some moves that you normally would not expect her to have.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, it was a wrestling heavy show. I mean, they had a lot of quick matches. Primetime players defeated R-Truth and Kofi in the tag title tournament. Ryback squashed Primo. Wade Barrett squashed a local. Sheamus and Big Show kept their feud going, by getting involved in each other's matches throughout the night. And then for the main event, they did CM Punk versus Dolph Ziggler. Put CM Punk over Dolph. That was a pretty decent match too. Those two are always good in the ring. Whatever Dolph and Punk do is, they're just great at what they do.
Are you kind of disappointed that we didn't see, for CM Punk and Dolph, we didn't see kind of like the beginning of a face turn for Dolph? Because, I mean, you got the number one heel right now in the company involved in a match with arguably what could be the number one face, or basically another number one guys. I mean, do you think that there was a missed opportunity there, or do you think it would just been too early?
I think they've been doing a lot of planting some seeds for a face turn for Dolph. They've been having him kind of go against Vicky subtly the last few weeks, and not letting her talk as much for him.
That's been going on for months, not weeks,
yeah.
Months.
Well, I think it's been more noticeable in the last few weeks than it was like a year ago. I thought for sure they were turning Dolph, and they kind of put the kibosh on that for whatever reason.
Do you remember the perfect time when they could have done it? It was with, do you remember Jack Swagger versus Dolph to find out who would have kept Vicky? That was the perfect time.
Yeah, definitely. Without a doubt.
I mean, wait, now that they're kind of teasing the idea of a face turn, I mean, at the beginnings of it, when do you see it come into fruition? I mean, do you think we're looking at a month, 2 months, or do you think it's just going to be one of those things that WWE is going to kind of, I don't want to say play as they go, but I don't know.
I'm hoping sometime between now and maybe shortly after he cashes in his Money in the Bank, maybe he'll cash it in and turn on Vicky, or have Vicky turn on him, or I'll see why Vicky would turn on him, but maybe have him leave Vicky, and that would lead to a face turn.
Okay. Chat's saying the tag tournament's been great, and they want more tournaments. Yeah, I mean, I gotta agree. This tag tournament has been a phenomenal thing to have into the tag division. That's been pretty impressive, along with Kane and Bryan. So, I mean, do you think maybe we'll see more of these kind of tournaments, or do you see that maybe, I mean, possibly a return of this next year, maybe? Like another tag tournament next year, almost like a Bound for Glory series, but a tag tournament for WWE?
Yeah, I really like the idea of this tag tournament. I got to showcased a lot of the newer teams that they've thrown together. I think it's been a big success. It's getting a lot of positive feedback. I'd like to see them do this, maybe every 6 months or so.
Okay.
Just kind of reestablish the tag division.
All right. Yeah, that'd be awesome. A couple of points from the chat I want to kick to you, and then we can move on. First one, Divas still need a strong storyline. Do you see anything coming down the pipeline that could possibly be that? I mean, one thing we talked about last week, I'd like to get your opinion on, is the idea of a female Nexus angle, almost, where they take a bunch of women from FCW and bring them up almost as like a Nexus 2.0 type of deal. Do you think that would work, or do you think that would be a mistake?
I don't think that'd be anything that WWE would be interested in doing. I mean, as far as they're concerned, the women are just out there to look at and have their 2-minute match. I mean, I don't think they have a lot of interest in giving them a lot of TV time, especially with a main storyline like that. And I mean, it could work. I mean, if they really got behind the Divas and gave them, credible storylines, and then again, if the Divas could actually act, yeah, wrestle, act, whatever.
If they could do the job that is being asked of them, yeah.
But I don't know exactly who they have that would be able to pull it off outside of, Eva's pretty good in her role. I don't know where Beth Phoenix is going to be. The rumor is she's, on her way out. Yeah. We could see like a kind of like new beginning to the Divas division in the next few months once they start bringing new girls up from NXT or FCW or whatever they're running nowadays.
Yeah, they definitely got some talent down there. It'd be interesting to see what they do with them. Chad also brought up the point that Dolph could be a pretty fine babyface with his kind of like fast talk, trash talk gimmick. You can just make fun of a bunch of different people. You can kind of say that's what Cena, kind of build Cena to what he became today. I mean, do you think that would be a good fit for Ziggler, or do you think that wouldn't really work for... Do you think that really wouldn't work for Ziggler going forward, or as far as being a face?
Yeah, I think that would be the kind of face he would be. Which, I mean, you can almost define most of the top level faces like that, but I think that would be a good fit for him.
Okay. One other thing to kick before we move to Raw. We were talking about doing an annual tournament. What about if they brought back sort of like a tag team King of the Ring, or just brought back King of the Ring in general?
I always like King of the Ring, but I didn't like that they did it in one night. I still like when they build it up through a pay-per-view and, maybe do the semifinals and finals all in one show. But I always hated that they would have guys wrestle 3 or 4 matches on the show because, the first 3, or either the last match is crap or the first 3 matches that the guys are going to wrestle are just going to be kind of dogged.
Yeah, they're just going to be kind of bland to make sure they don't gas themselves. Okay, cool. All right, so moving on to Raw. Lee, what was your absolute favorite moment of Raw?
It probably, it had to be see at the end part of CM Punk and Vince. I mean, it was in a different league to everything else. I mean, you had a 67-year-old man going out there and just the pop from the crowd, that is nowhere near anything that has been close to for this, these past few weeks. Raw, it's been all right actually, Raw. But last week was it was horrible. But Vince just when WWE is in desperate times, he just honestly goes out there and just puts on a show. And this is a 67-year-old man. If he can go out there and do it, why can no one else step up? And someone else, these aren't my words, someone else did this. But why can no one else step up? Why can no one produce some form of performance? It really does beg the question.
No, I can throw two. Well, one thing. I am relatively sure that Vince was probably saying that exact same thing on Tuesday to the writing staff. I'm willing to bet Sunday night was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it myself, roll up his sleeves and get out there and do it. Then Tuesday he came back out and went, see, how come you can't get this done? As far as who could do it, I think Taker could do it. But Undertaker, remember, he was
Taker's
a guy
getting up there too.
Yeah, he was a guy who used to wrestle on a regular basis for a while. Now he's more of a sort of a special. He's like the Santa of the WWE. We bring him out once a year, and we all get super excited when we do.
Yeah, but it's just like I like Raw this week for me. All of Raw was pretty hot. It wasn't it wasn't majorly hot, but it was pretty good. Again, we go back to the same thing with 3 hours just dragging it down. There's that bit of Raw that just doesn't need to be there, and it pretty much is. There is an extra hour of content we just don't need. If that was a 2-hour show last night, and I think it was someone at PW Torch at this actually. If it was 2 hours last night, then it would have been a really hot show. If Vince and Punk had ended it at the end of the second hour, it would have been spot on. It really would have been there, because then next week you'd have gone, what the hell's going to happen? Obviously, besides the thing that happened after the main event.
Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agreed with that 100%. If it was a 2-hour show, that would have been, a hell of an ending. As far as, guys that can pull that off, they need to stop going to the bag of tricks that's, Vince McMahon, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Stone Cold. They need to just build their guys and stick with it. Try to find those guys that work and really work on getting those guys over instead of going back to, what we were 10 years ago, because now we're in that position where no one's over because they never put anyone, they didn't try anyone new. They just kept going back to, Shawn Michaels or Triple H instead of building a new act, and it's time to pay the piper now.
I think. Sorry.
No, go on, Lee. I just want to say that is a really, really fair point. That was something I wanted to bring up, was that you can't keep going back to, the well and then, expect us to see anything different. I mean, they really have to start, like Mike was saying, build up their own talent. I mean, what do you think about that, Lee?
I think he's absolutely spot on. I really do, because it's just they need to find the next. They need to build these stars. The undercard in WWE right now is still bad. It's still bad. I mean, they had a great example of this is John Cena comes out, opens up, does this absolutely, half of it was a god awful promo. And he takes the mick. Sorry, he takes the mick out of Cesaro's nipples and shit like this. Like they're building this. Yeah, they're building this guy up, as a US champion, and then Cena goes out and does that.
No,
how much?
What I think that was about was Cena preparing everybody for his new one-man show, where he was going to go just like Mankind and start touring the country doing stand-up when he can't wrestle anymore. It was so bad. It was so bad.
No, but he does this, honestly. You watch Raw, he does this once every 4 or 5 months. He opens the show and literally reviews what's going on in the WWE and takes the mick out of him. It's awful.
And he throws in his awful jokes, too.
Yeah, he does.
He does a Seinfeld promo. What's the deal with Cesaro? And then does his thing. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Okay, so chat's saying the Vince Punk match was pretty bad. They're also saying that Raw is still great, but I think there should be another general manager. AJ's not that great of a general manager, and she needs to basically go back to the Divas division. The other people are saying Raw was better than last week, but how could you make last week worst?
I'm going to go back to the first point, Vince and Punk. If you're saying, well, it wasn't officially a match, but if you're saying that match was bad, you had Vince diving over the announce table, literally right onto Punk, and they just went at it like mad. I don't really know what you could have asked for more of the pair of them, because CM Punk made Vince look good, and Vince made CM Punk look good. In their different respect. I don't really know how you could have had it better, because Vince the way he launched across that table was it mind blew me. It
wasn't by like standards. It wasn't a 4-star match or anything. But for
it wasn't.
Man match, it was very it was passable. It was good for what it was.
Okay, Rob.
Yeah, I think you guys are making some great points here. I mean, we've talked numerous times about Shane McMahon being a great part-time wrestler. I think you can throw Vince McMahon into that, and I think WWE is where TNA was a couple of years ago when TNA wasn't developing their own talent. Sooner or later, Vince McMahon and the WWE creative staff have to say, okay, we're not going to dig out the legends to bail you guys out anymore. Here's the mic. Go out and do what we're paying you to do.
Wow, Rob, that's a really good point. Yeah, it kind of is how they were, because back then, you got to think when Bischoff and Hogan first came over. I mean, it was all about Sting and, well, it still is.
Nasty Boys.
Yeah, it was all about the
Nasty
classic.
Boys. Good God.
Well, no, it was about.
Defend that.
But no, I mean, what about?
Oh, go ahead, Harrison.
No, Mike. I was just gonna say, what about to Rob's point? I mean, what do you think of that?
Yeah. I mean, it's right. I mean, they have a lot of guys that they can, start building around too. Last night on Raw, I was really impressed by Wade Barrett's performance and Antonio Cesaro, and they do have the young guys that they can build up. They just got to stop wheeling the legends out, so to speak.
Between WWE and FCW, they've got the talent where they can build a new era.
Yeah,
the talent's there. The WWE just has to develop it.
Mm-hmm. And I think with the creative shakeup, I think we might start to see some new stuff coming from Raw now that we don't have the same guy with the same kind of I don't know what the word is. But just the same view on Raw every week. I'm really excited to see what this creative shakeup is going to lead to.
Okay, Lee, you have a real point, real quick.
Yeah, I think with what I can't speak now. When Rob said, all about the whole, let's go out there, give them the mic, do what we pay you to do. I completely agree with that, but at the same time, and it's pretty much what Mike's just said in a weird way, the writing staff need to give these guys chances. They need, now there's been a bit of a change. They need to grow to that next level and take everybody with them to the next level, because if they don't find anybody I'm going to say in the next, next year, that's, that had the CM Punk breakout moment or something like that, and they're going to really struggle. They really are going to struggle, especially going 3 hours on Raw, because if NBC are moaning now about the ratings, and don't get me, and I know we talk about how ratings are unimportant, but they're going to, one day, if they go down really low, they could just pull the plug. I know they.
What do you mean pull the plug?
They'll pull the plug on Raw. I reckon they can pull the plug on Raw if they consistently get lower and lower. I'm not kidding you. If they go down, I'm not kidding you. If they go down low, really low on ratings, they will pull the plug on Raw.
No,
I think they would have to get extremely low. I think the number would be below. I'd say below 1.0.
But they could go down if they went down one way below the 2 mark, theoretically in a year.
Lee, if they're going to do that, that's basically WWE essentially saying we're done.
Yes, but what I'm saying is they need to. Okay, that wasn't the real point of the argument. The real point of the argument was they need to build superstars and they need to do it quickly.
Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, Chad's saying that they have the talent, and they just refuse to push them. They also say that they panic after 1 week of lower ratings and bring out the Boston Cena. New stars get the same treatment after 1 week of trying. It's kind of a disconnect that they have there between building up their lower card players, and it's like, well, if you're going to do that, with the fact that you have presidential debates going on, you have news cycles, plus you got now Monday Night Football and everything else that's going on Monday nights, and again throughout the week, you have to worry that, well, if you're going to be shifting focus from your main guys to your lower mid-card guys, you are going to take a bit of a ratings hit to do that, in addition to basically spreading your product as thin as possible. So I don't see. I don't know. I mean, it seems like WWE is kind of like, I got 2 feet, I'm going to shoot that one, and then just kind of move on from there. I wonder why they can't run as fast.
Yeah, but WWE also have another bigger problem. That the fact that they've got wrestling now on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Mondays, that's 1 day of the week off wrestling. How much wrestling do you need a week?
You need all, especially on Tuesdays, you need your wrestling fix, which is why you should go to FTWpodcast.com and listen live.
I know, but if you've just watched, honestly, if you start on Wednesday, watch WWE on Ion, go Thursday with Impact, go Friday with SmackDown, go Saturday with Saturday Morning Slam. I know that's an odd one, and then Sunday with the pay-per-view. Then by the time Monday comes around again, you'll be done. Absolutely, a constant cycle of rest. Some people just won't keep up with that, and are just not interested in keeping up with that.
Well, you can see that in the ratings that people are already voting with their remotes. I mean, for example, I didn't watch Raw live last night, and I'm starting to pick and choose now which shows I watch and when. I mean,
Funnily enough,
I always watch SmackDown. I kind of have to watch SmackDown every week, but
yeah.
but like something like Raw, you know, to be honest, if I wasn't on this show tonight, I probably still wouldn't have watched Raw.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. And funnily enough, another point from PW Torch, so I think it was Wade Keller, who said, you know, last week was the lowest ratings in 15 years for wrestling. That was Raw, which got 2.5, Impact, which got something like a 0.8.
It was like 0.87 or something.
Yeah, 0.7. SmackDown got a 1.7, and then, you know, I don't know what Saturday Morning Slam got, but, you know, it was awful. Really, really awful week because of this, you know, constant now.
Okay, I do want to move on from one point because we keep ragging on WWE, and here's the problem with the whole ratings discussion. TNA's ratings, they don't really take much of a hit on Thursday nights with Thursday Night Football. So whatever they're doing with their product, which is apparently we show one show on Thursdays and the pay-per-view on Sunday, is working for them. So you can kind of look at the two. I mean, yeah, I know we're dealing with a 3.5 drop to a 2.8, and TNA would kill their Firstborn Sons to get ratings that high. But you can look at it just compared to where they were a year ago, and off-season and on-season with their Thursday Night Football or soccer or tennis or whatever they're up against. They're not taking that big of a hit from it when that happens. So I really got to, you kind of got to look at TNA and go, what they're doing is working. I mean, whatever it is, I mean, there's so many moving parts when it comes to this kind of thing, especially when you're talking about TV ratings. You have to kind of look at them and go, well, at least whatever they're doing is working.
How is it working if their ratings don't go up?
Exactly. How is it
working?
Well,
that's the thing, that their rating. No, my point is that their ratings aren't going down. Yeah, the ratings don't go up, but we always have that argument of, is it, because they're on a third or fourth tier cable network because you need how many packages you need to get to it. There's that type of thing. It's not available everywhere. It's kind of as far as the Spike ecosystem.
Is still Spike TV's highest rated show. So much so that Spike TV forces TNA, here, advertise all of our shitty programming on your show.
Yeah, so there is that too. Chet does bring up a good point though. Raw and Impact don't exactly have the same audience either. That is a good point. I mean, Raw is traditional. I think Raw's audience is primarily parents with kids. So the parents are going to be watching Monday Night Football while the kids are, fuck off. They can do whatever they want. Whereas Impact is going to be that butter zone in between that, which is our age. And we're the ones that watch it because, for whatever reason. So we don't really give two shits about football, or we have DVR. We don't have kids, basically, that we're worried about. So I don't know. It's such a complicated discussion is what I'm getting at.
It is, but when he said Impact is working, I don't know how they are because they've not got over that 1.2 margin.
But
the whole point is to grow an audience.
Yeah, Lee, but the problem is, I mean, it's something that Rob and I have talked about a lot. Is that I really don't think, and I think Rob agrees with me on this, that TNA will ever get higher than a 1.1 while they're on Spike Network. I mean, there's nothing on that show or nothing on that station that gets higher than that. So I think really
sooner or later TNA needs to get to a bigger cable network.
Yeah, they're
as long as they're on Spike, 1.1, 1.2 is about the tops they can hit. That doesn't necessarily reflect the programming. That's just they're on a shitty network.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that, I mean, the only way we could really have it is like when we had the Monday Night Wars, when you had USA and TNT were on the same cable tier.
If you put Impact on TNT, you'd see their ratings jump.
Yeah, but hang on. When TNA went live, the first time they went live, 2010, the first time they got something like, what was it, a 2 rating or something like that? First time?
Yeah, they popped a pretty big rating for their first live show, or that live show in 2010.
Because they brought out Hulk Hogan.
So what? They still they could still draw that. They could still there was an audience there for it.
It was a one-time thing. People came to see Hulk Hogan. It's like, ooh, Hulk Hogan's on.
How is it a one-time thing when he's still on the product now?
No, that's a fair point. That is a fair point. If they could draw that kind of reaction to it, then, maybe they could consist. Oh, God damn it, I hate talking about this. All right, we're moving on. Moving on to Ask FTW. You ask, we answer.
Lee, we win.
Yeah, you guys win. Oh, hey, we got Mike and Lee to agree on something. You ask, we answer. Each one of us is going to get 30 seconds to sound off on a news topic, and then we'll move on and probably scream at each other if there's time. First one up is basically the one that everybody wants to talk about, which is, did CM Punk go over the line with his fan interaction at the end of Raw? If you missed it, check out our Facebook page. We have the video posted on there. You can basically see that Punk got shoved, turned around, and belted a guy in glasses. We're going to go to us first, and then I'll kick it to your reaction, which kind of blew up our Facebook page. Anyway, Lee, what do you think? Was Punk over the line?
My answer is going to be yes and no. You should not the way that CM Punk retaliated. He just swung. He could have hit anybody. It was so
blindly.
dangerous. What?
He swung blindly.
Exactly. He swung blind.
He swung blindly.
Thank you, dickhead. It was so awful that the way they did it. But at the same time, where the fuck were security? Where the fuck were they? Like, seriously, you've got the WWE champion as a heel going into a crowd. You know, what? That is stupid. Absolutely stupid. But it doesn't excuse the fact that CM Punk literally just swung and then really pushed his face into his nose or something. It could have been anybody. That was awful.
Okay. Mike.
Yeah, I think he went over the line with his interaction, quote unquote. He didn't look, and I mean he's a professional. You know, he shouldn't be swinging on fans who are just slapping him on the shoulder. How many guys do we see get knocked to the barricade, and all the people sitting in the front row they start slapping the guy, whatever? How many of them get cracked in the face for doing that? I think Punk just that was a huge mistake on his part, and I think if there was anyone lower on the card, they'd be suspended or fired or something for doing that.
Okay. Rob, what do you think?
Well, the shoves were not just little slaps on the back. They knocked CM Punk off balance, and at one time it looked like he actually took a forearm to the back of the head. I'm of the opinion that if you are dumb enough to attack a professional wrestler, you deserve what you get. That being said,
Rob,
let me finish. Hey, you had your time. My time.
Okay, sorry.
Mouse.
That being said, I do agree with points that Mike and Lee made in that CM Punk didn't look. He just swung blindly and could have hit anybody. And that's an incredibly dangerous situation.
Yeah, when I saw this video on our Facebook page and I went through, Ronald James, on our Facebook page, hit it on the head. This is one of those situations where I don't think it's a good idea for a wrestler to be in a crowd where this kind of situation is going to happen. I mean, where was the security guards around Punk to begin with? There it is. The second that, that would have been the one thing. I mean, you could talk about, was Punk right to swing? Did the fan have to hit him? If a security guard's out there, that's not going to happen. I mean, that's your instant fix, and it just didn't happen. It was one of those things that, for whatever reason, it was poorly planned, and then this shit happened. At this point, that's the only place you can point a finger if you really believe in that kind of thing, and go, where was security? Because that would have stopped this. That would have kept this from happening.
You'll probably find out in a few weeks that either they didn't inform security they're going to run into the crowd, or maybe Punk went the wrong way. Maybe he went right when he should have went left.
Yeah, it's probably an innocent mistake, but still, I mean, when you're going to be doing that kind of stuff, especially with Punk being such a hot heel, you cross your T's and dot your I's.
Maybe it was just late writing.
That's true too. It could be late writing. Chet's saying no, not really. The guy deserves it. The guy who got punched, and he knows it. Look, he's not even filing charges. But the bad thing about it is that if shit went down and CM Punk suspended, if the shit went down and CM Punk suspended, Raw's done as far as ratings go. CM Punk should be lucky because he's a WWE Golden Boy. Because if anybody else, let's say in the mid card, that guy would have been gone by tomorrow for the incident with the fan. That's a really good point.
Look what happened over the summer. Jericho stomped on a flag, and he was suspended for 30 days.
Yep.
And this is probably worse as well. This is a lot worse.
Well, it's a human being.
Oh, you think hitting a person is worse than
hey,
stomping on a flag?
Thank you, dick shit.
You really went on them on that one.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is,
what's next? Hitler was a bad guy?
Don't start that. Don't start
God,
down that road, bitch.
Really, the Hitler card?
Don't start
Anyway,
that.
Punk is so good. He'll bring up the lack of respect from security last week. Yeah, I mean, look for this in a promo next week, and Punk's going to spin it and probably say how, this is what he means by the fans sucking and that kind of thing. Robert Carmichael had really good points. Harry had a really good point on there. Will Rush also had a really good point. Risk of being in the crowd. Punk was jostled a lot. Funny, he didn't need to seem to make VKM look tough, but none of this would have happened. That's a really good point. What else? Matt, saying, this is a really good point too. Matt said, he's even at the top of the stairs, so he wasn't even in serious danger. So he does kind of have every right to defend himself like that. Yeah, I mean, if you remove the context of the situation, there was a man on a staircase in a public venue. He got shoved and punched twice. It's understandable he would try to defend himself. Chat saying Finlay got fired for cutting off the national anthem. WWE is full of double standards. For once, an IWC fave gets the bennies. It's not the act that gets these people fired, it's the reaction to it. Yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, if I don't know. That's kind of a cynical way to put it.
I think there's one big reason why he's not been fired, and that is quite simply because he's CM Punk. And if WWE fired him right now, they've got nothing. They literally have nothing.
Oh, they wouldn't fire him. They would suspend him or something. Because even though he has grounds for defending himself. I mean, even if they came to fire him, he'd be like, "Come on, I was defending myself. Where was security up there? I'm in a hostile crowd." Yeah.
Watch him drop the title at the SmackDown tapings tonight. then you'll know what the punishment. I mean, remember a few years ago when Rob Van Dam got busted for driving a pot? They jobbed him out the next day, and he was gone.
This is a lot bigger though. This one. If they jobbed him out on SmackDown, Jesus Christ, that's literally a storyline of what Mum's just gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here's the thing though, there is another problem with a lot of these comparisons is that all of our even everybody there was no one really on that commented on this on our Facebook page or that I've seen is commenting on it that have been Punk was wrong. I have yet to see someone actually say that Punk was wrong in this context. I mean, they could say, well, he shouldn't have been up there or whatever reason, but they're saying in this specific reason when he got shoved and pushed twice, he was right. Brazil really hated Jericho, and when Abraham dropped the hotel gate, if you want to make that comparison, the fans were also after him. So there is something to be said for WWE isn't really going to cut off the hand despite the face.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. Brazil weren't going after Jericho. Brazil didn't care.
Oh yeah, they did.
Oh,
they did.
No. Hang on, no.
Right, man.
Yeah, but no, most of the fans in that arena didn't care. I seem to remember a lot of posts. Yeah, I know Brazil tried to arrest him, but but I swear down, loads of fans in that arena.
Brazil wasn't going after him. They just tried to arrest him.
Well, Lee, more than 35,000 people in Brazil. I mean, it wasn't like the entire country of Brazil was in that arena and going, oh, well, he doesn't understand our local customs. It was like all the WWE fans are like, it's Jericho being Jericho, and then everybody else going, he did what? If no one just say we didn't have social media, would Jericho have really got done for 30 days? He wouldn't have gone out of that arena. I don't want to speculate about that because regardless, it's a false comparison. Regardless, I mean, if you want to make all these crazy little things for it, I do want to bring up that Corey Bruff said there's actually someone on Twitter. Basically, someone on Twitter was gloating that they were the one that punched Punk in the kidney and in the head, and then in his words, dipped and watched the guy in the black shirt with glasses take the punches. I'm guessing that he came around, punched Punk, and shoved back in the blah, blah, blah. But anyway, that it's just weird that someone would go on Twitter and kind of claim credit for it. And I got to be honest, when I watched the video, it seemed like I don't know about the first couple punches, but it seemed like the last shove that really put Punk over the edge. It looked like it was coming from a guy in a white shirt behind him.
Yeah, it was. It was coming from a guy in a white shirt behind him. This guy who claims to have punched Punk, however, he barely touched him. I think he touched him once, and then it wasn't anything to do with him. It was literally a guy who was just trying to impress a friend, which was the guy in the white shirt is the main guy. But if everyone is saying that this guy with the sunglasses, if you watch the guy with the sunglasses who got hit behind, if you watch him, the guy with the sunglasses taps his hand right onto his head pretty hard of CM Punk as well. He doesn't know who it is, but he does physically touch him as such. No, not in that way, Mike. But he does touch him.
Yeah, I noticed that too because
Oh yeah.
Wade Keller saying, "Oh, the guy in the sunglasses didn't touch him, didn't provoke him."
He did.
I think it was on your page, Lee, where someone where they slowed it down and kept showing it over and over and over again, slowed down in a video, and you can clearly see him hit him, and then in the same motion he starts putting his sunglasses on.
Yeah, it's the same. It literally, the guy in the sunglasses hits him on the top, whilst at the same time the guy in the white shirt punches him, or really hits him in the back of that's the one there. The guy who hits him on the back of the neck.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what you're saying is there was a second shooter, and
back into the left.
Back to the left.
I think that guy has actually been, I think he didn't get what he deserved. Don't get me wrong, but he did literally smack CM Punk on the head. You just watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, no, going Rob. Rob, you get final point. Then we're moving on.
Well, and it's like we said, that's the danger and the potential mistake that CM Punk made. Rather than take a look at who did it before retaliating, he just swings blindly. I mean, he could have hit anybody.
Oh, yeah. That's very true.
And basically, that's what you could argue that if he was the one that he hit him, and he did just swing wildly. Yeah, it was one of those things. Anyway, okay, Fabe said, with the push of the tag team division in WWE, remember, we have to keep these now. Remember, quick hits. We have to, with the push of the tag team division in WWE, do you see any other division possibly getting more attention? Mike?
No, and I think they should. I think they could really get behind a U.S. title or IC title division and have, those kinds of matches main eventing Raw instead of wheeling out Punk and Cena every week, their top draws. They can really work on that mid card, but I don't see it as something they're going to invest in the near future. It looks like they're happy with pushing the tag division.
Okay, Lee. Lee.
Yeah, sometimes I don't really get why we say, are they going to give another division some more time? Every single division should be pushed. Every single one of them. These guys are trying to get over for a living and such. They're trying to get popularity. Look what we're going back 10 years ago now, 2003, 2004, I think it was, where Lita versus Trish main evented Raw, the Divas title. Obviously, it's a completely different league now, but it is possible. Just do something with them.
Rob, go.
WWE has like 6 hours a week of television now. They have more than enough time to push every division. They should. They need to start developing all of their talent.
Damn
but
it,
they won't.
Rob, you completely stole my point. Yeah, there is zero excuse for this now. I mean, they have FCW that they're calling NXT. They have 90 hours of programming a week. They're the big boys on the block. There is zero excuse for the Divas division, for the IC title hunt being the way it is, for the WWE or for the US title hunt being the way it is. There is no excuse for any of this at this point. I mean, you can't say, well, there's only so much time because, I mean, they're basically making their own shows. So, no, there is no reason for they have no excuse for this at this point.
Maybe they just need more titles.
Yeah, they need more titles. Everybody gets a
title. Bring back the European, the hardcore, and the TV title need to come back.
Yeah.
And a cruiserweight. Why not?
Yeah, why not throw a cruiserweight title in there? Chet saying Miz is by far the worst IC champion. Has he even had a storyline or feud? Ridiculous. Oh, Dem's fighting words. Oh.
I think that's just changed. With Kofi. Kofi's the wrong man, but I think that's just changed. To be fair, Kofi looked pretty good against the Miz, though. It's the best thing he's done in months.
Kofi or Miz?
Both.
Ouch. Miz is awesome. Well, all right. Miz is great, except for Miz TV.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, we can. Mike and I are big enough men that we can admit that's terrible. RKO Voices on Twitter said, "What do you think will happen if we get Ryback versus Punk? What's going to give, the Goldberg push or the 300-day title run?" I think this one's pretty obvious. Mike, what do you think?
I think they're going to stick with the 300-day title run. I think they're really pushing hard for Punk versus Rock at Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Now, I don't think they'll put Punk cleanly over Ryback, but I think maybe they'll hold off on giving Ryback the title.
Okay, Rob, what do you think?
I agree with Mike. I think they will stick with CM Punk. CM Punk's making the money. He's drawing the ratings. He's he's the guy right now. They're not going to push Ryback over that.
Okay, no, that's fair. Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be the 300+ day title run. They're definitely angling for the he's going to beat Cena's record, and they're really laying it out there because, like we keep talking about, you have situations like this where Cena can't wrestle, and they got Ryback versus Punk. I mean, how do you make Punk versus Ryback a legitimate feud when it's been kind of like literally cobbled together? So for that, yeah, it's totally Punk all the way. I don't think and I think I'm with Mike on this one. That they'll probably have Ryback get over on Punk, but Punk will easily get the victory. We have lost Lee, so thank you, England, for your crappy internet. Gary, wanted to say, hope you guys all feel fine. We don't actually. This past weekend, Garvin and I went to Toronto for a bachelor party, and we're both sick. So we blame the guy we roomed with, who's apparently Typhoid Mary. Garvin is so hopped up on cough syrup. No, it wasn't Lee. Garvin
You
is
guys
so
got
hopped.
SARS.
Yeah, he's got SARS. Garvin is so hopped up on cough syrup right now, he can't even be on the show. Right now, he's just cruising, doing his thing with the chat and everything. I'm willing to bet he has no idea what's going on. He probably just thinks he's just flashing lights. He thinks he's in a dreamscape right now. It's like that scene in 2001 where he's removing the glass panels to kill the computer. That's exactly what Garvin thinks he's doing right now.
He's waiting for hell to say, "I'm sorry, Garvin. I can't let you do that."
So I really hope the chat starts messing with him. Just kind of because he's probably stoned out of his mind on all the different meds he's on right now. All right, so anyway, back to Gary's original reason. But thank you, Gary, for asking if we're fine. Do you think the WWE are hurting the primetime players by not letting them be tag team champions by now? And do you think they're actually punishing them for some transgression that he did not go into? What do you think about that, Mike?
Yeah, they've definitely hurt the primetime players by not giving them the tag titles by now. They had a lot of momentum going into the summer, and for whatever reason, Vince McMahon creative, they went with a different direction for the tag titles. I don't think they're I don't think they're punishing them, but yeah, they've definitely hurt the primetime players.
And we got Lee back. Thank you, England, for plugging the cord back in that goes from your little island to France. Lee, what do you think? Do you think that primetime players are hurt because they're not holding gold, and do you think that WWE is possibly punishing them for something?
Well, first of all, I don't think England takes their wiring through France because that's just a dumbass idea.
Well, I just think it's just one cord. Yeah, it's just one cord that goes from, I don't know, Wales to France.
Wales?
I'm sorry, Chad.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry.
Wales?
Wales. I'm sorry, Chad had a great one. Millions of dollars out the window. Okay, Lee, go on.
Okay. I'm not sure. I don't think I think it's too early to tell. I think you need to see what they do see who wins the next tag team matches. If Team Scholars, or whatever the hell they're called, win, then I have a feeling that primetime players won't get a shot for a while. However, if Kane and Bryan win, I have a feeling it'll be the primetime players next. But I'm not too sure that they've hurt them yet. I'm going to go against it. I think there's still some life in them.
Okay, Rob, what do you think?
I think the primetime players have definitely been hurt by not having the titles yet, and it wouldn't surprise me if they're being punished for the whole AW incident, even though they had no real control over that.
Yeah, Rob, that's a pretty fair point. I don't want to go that far with it. I really think that they are being hurt by not being pushed. Chad has basically the exact point that I was going to get to, is that primetime players are getting that nice crime time push. Yeah, that's basically what it is. And I really hope that they do get a push because they are solid. They're getting over on the crowd because you can tell that these two guys are really, really talented. Yeah, so hopefully they do. Also, Gary had a really good point. Could we possibly see with Vince McMahon returning with a Triple H Punk match at Survivor Series, or McMahon versus Punk match, where if Mr. McMahon wins, Punk gets fired, or if Vince loses, he walks away from WWE? I mean, do you think that they would go back to that for Survivor Series if they can't get Cena? I mean, I know we're going on about Cena's going to be there. Do you see that happening? Either Triple H or Vince McMahon is actually in a match for Survivor Series. What do you think, Mike?
No.
Okay, Lee.
First of all, it says CM Punk will get fried, not fired, for a kickoff. Secondly,
Man, those meds are doing a job on Garvin.
yeah. Secondly,
He's getting hungry.
I don't want to see a Triple H CM Punk match again. I personally didn't really like it the first time. I don't really want it the second time. Vince versus Punk has just been, well, not been just been done, but we've seen too much of it. So it would, no, not for me.
Okay.
I reckon it'll be Cena Punk, I'm guessing again.
Rob?
Yeah, I don't think Triple H or Vince McMahon will get back into the ring. I just don't see where it helps the WWE at all. I think they're going to continue pushing Cena versus Punk. That's the moneymaker for WWE.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you guys on that one. Vince McMahon and Survivor Series isn't going to work, and I think Triple H's next match is going to have to be against Lesnar. And if he does have another match, it'll have to be against Lesnar, just because they'll give him the rubber match. But yeah, I really hope that if it isn't Cena, then if it's Ryback or whatever, if it isn't Cena, regardless if it's Cena or Ryback, it's still going to be a placeholder match because Cena, A, is not going to be up to 100%, and B, if it is Ryback, we all know that it would be the swerve of the century. I mean, you talk about WWE unzipping their pants and laying it all out if they give Ryback that belt. I mean,
would it not be interesting?
Well, no, that's the thing. I can't think of a more bold move of the past maybe 2 years, with the exception of giving Punk that mic, pushing him out there, and doing the pipe bomb. I can't think of something more bold than that.
Would it not be interesting though to test out? Say Ryback pins him 1, 2, 3, but let's just say Paul Heyman, and then they just see what the crowd reaction is like to that, and then of course announce, oh, but CM Punk's done this, therefore it's a DQ or whatever, just to see what kind of reaction he gets if he won the championships.
A nice dusty finish? Is that what you're suggesting? A dusty finish?
Yeah, something like that, just to see what the reaction would be like if Ryback won.
I don't know. I that's so risky because there's so many different things. I mean, you can't really. You're gonna let 45,000 people decide what millions are gonna see the next day.
Oh wait, did you say, is this at WrestleMania?
All right, you're going to let 25,000 people decide? Because, well, you're thinking they're probably going to get the reaction from Twitter immediately. So you're thinking that is going to decide what is going to happen for the foreseeable future?
I don't think they can. I mean, they could, but it'd be dumbass from my point of view. I don't think they could just give Ryback the push straight away. I don't see how he can win his first title match. I don't know how well it'd go over.
That's the thing. I don't know. I mean, it would cement that whole, he's getting a major push. I mean, be right on track with Goldberg.
He's got that body type that Vince McMahon loves.
Yeah, Vince loves big dudes. Miss you, Joe. Hope you're having fun in Colorado.
I know, but
I mean, when he gets desperate, I mean, that's the kind of guy that I can see Vince McMahon going for.
But would you really risk it? Could you really do it? Especially during this is CM Punk's title reign, and he's just about to, we're talking about breaking records. Would you really have Ryback break that record? Really?
I don't know. I think it's one of those things. If Vince is really scared and he does not trust Triple H to put together a quality product, I'm with Mike. Ryback is the kind of guy that he would turn to and go, well, this is it. Even though Ryback is technically, isn't he one of Triple H's guys, or no?
No, it's Skip Sheffield. No,
yeah,
Ryback
okay.
Skip Sheffield. It's Nexus.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, he'd be better than Goldberg. I mean, Goldberg, yeah, Garth, thanks. Goldberg's first title was the U.S. title, and then he got the World Heavyweight.
What?
Goldberg, when he did his run, he got the U.S. title first, and then he went on to the World Heavyweight.
WCW. Sorry, I thought you meant WWE. I was like, what?
Oh, no, WCW. Well, the comparisons between Goldberg and Ryback. See, that's the problem. You hear it, and you read it on Twitter, and it gets stuck in your brain.
It's just you.
Whatever. All right, so anyway, moving on. Yeah, it would be, well, I don't know. It would just, if it would happen, I can guarantee you the one thing we'd be talking about on this show that Tuesday would be that, regardless of what happened on Raw, yeah, if Ryback walks out with the belt, that'll be the one thing we're going to talk about. Nick asked us, who watched Batista's magnificent and totally technically sound debut fight against Super Porky, Vince Lucero? That was pretty impressive, right? I believe Lee and I were the only ones to see that, correct? So Lee, what did you think?
I'm not sure if this guy's been a bit sarcastic or not. Batista's his win was a good win. It wasn't, he's admitted himself it wasn't, a world-class win. He's not up for any titles or anything like that. But, you've got, what we've all got to remember is this guy has just been drafted in, 5-6 days before Batista's main fight? Because the original guy, I can't remember his name now, original guy got done. I think he got arrested or something like that. He did get arrested. So, for Batista to win, he was always going to win his debut fight. He was always going to win. But, it looked good. And to be fair to Batista, he did donate all his winnings to charity as well, which is just classic.
Yeah, that was a classy move. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Batista's 43, so we have to keep remember that. I mean, it wasn't terrible. I mean, it wasn't like a dominant entrance where he came in and just to the guy. No, he looked honestly, he looked about as good as we would expect him to be in that situation. I mean, he's got a lot of ring work underneath him, in WWE and, in his whole past and everything. I mean, the guy has been physically battered a lot. He comes into essentially this at essentially retirement age, and really he did all right. I mean, he didn't look fast, he didn't look dominating, but technically, yeah. I mean, Nick, if you want to be sarcastic, it was technically sound. He was good.
I think CM Punk said it earlier in the week, though. I think he said something about Batista has always wanted to go into MMA just to do at least one match, and he's now done his one match. Well, not a big stage, but an average stage. Yeah. He's under his belt, and that's what he's wanted to do. So if he leaves it there, his dream is done. So that's fine, I think.
Yeah, really. I mean, I can't imagine a better. I mean, you can imagine a better debut, but I can't imagine a more fitting debut. If that's the case, and he just wanted to do the one match, I say good on him. Hey, you got a match. It was a good match. It was a solid win, and there you go. I mean, it was. I would watch. I think the best thing about this that you could say is if Batista fought again, I would want to watch it, not just to laugh at him, but I thought he did pretty well.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Yeah, and then the name Batista will just he'll drag you anyway, won't he? Probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Although he didn't go as Animal, he went as what was it? What was his nickname? They only said it once. They kept referring to him as Animal. Then at the end, the announcer actually called him what he really is. Well, anyway, Robert wrote in.
Didn't MVP walk him to the ring too?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see him. I didn't see the walk to the ring. I just saw the beginning of the match.
Yeah, he did. He walked into the ring.
Oh, good for MVP.
I bought the pay-per-view.
Oh, okay, good for you.
Sucker.
Robert said that he read that Yoshitatsu went heel. He's not sure how long he'll play the heel role. If Tatsu went heel, is he going to be the next in line for a push? And which star would you like to see turn heel besides John Cena? All right, so what do you guys think about that? I mean, if Tatsu actually did turn heel, do you think it's a good move? And who would you want to see turn? Well, I don't want to ask that because who always asks that question. I mean, what do you think about Tatsu turning heel? I mean, do you see him getting a push out of this, Mike?
If you had to read about it, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be next in line for a push. Instead of seeing it on Raw or seeing it on SmackDown, if you had to read about it and be told about it, it's probably not going
anywhere. That's a fair point. Lee?
Yeah, but I have no words. Like, okay, in all Big Show, like, played a heel and came back to WWE TV he played the face and then came back to WWE TV as heel. But what I literally have no words. no words at all. I don't see. I'm done. I have no words for that.
Okay, Rob.
For not having any words, it took him a long time to say that. Sorry, Lee. I agree with.
Sorry, I'll put on an American accent. Does that sound better to you?
Yes, a lot better. Do the rest of the show like that.
I agree with Mike here. If you have to read about it, it's probably not going anywhere. If there were some kind of storyline or push coming, you'd see it pushed on one of the 5 million shows that WWE has now.
Yeah, that's the same point though. Is that on those those other 5 million shows, the only people you see on there are Rey Mysterio, Sheamus, and Punk. So, yeah, Jet says Tatsu heel. That's gold in terms of comedy. Yeah, him running a program against Santino would be hilarious.
Do you know what the funny thing would be though? Someone would name it and say, someone would go and write on Twitter, "Oh, they've turned Yoshitatsu heel. WWE is so stereotypical." I'm waiting for that comment. I'm absolutely waiting for it.
Well, I don't know.
Where's the American accent?
Hey, sometimes I've got to stick to my roots. Have you not watched the CM Punk DVD?
So what, like Tatsu, all of a sudden, instead of it changes his finisher to a 5-star frog splash and calls it like the Kamikaze or something? They're saying since Tensai failed, chat saying, since Tensai failed, they're desperately trying for a Japanese heel. I don't think so. I don't think there's like I don't think there's a checklist that WWE has in their writer's room, and Japanese heel needs to have one on there. Although, that would be pretty funny if there actually was that thing there. They're like, no, the future of the WWE hinges on there being a Japanese heel. And so now Yoshitatsu is the chosen one.
Well, and Tajiri and
yeah.
No. Let's move on, please. This is
we don't want to talk about Tajiri. Yeah. All right. So Lee asked, "Is wrestling oversaturated now with wrestling on most days of the week?" I think we kind of already discussed this, but I mean, final thoughts. I mean, do you think with wrestling, including if you get Ring of Honor, WWE, TNA, and if you bother watching, FCW or NXT online, I mean, do you think that we're now reaching a saturation point, or have we passed it? And what do you think is the good butter zone? Mike, what do you think?
We passed it years ago. I think the sweet spot with wrestling would be to do 1 2-hour show a week, and then as your main show, and then maybe do like a Superstars level show or something on the weekends.
Okay. Lee?
It's just ridiculous. The amount of like, I'm sure some people will love it, but it's so much. It's so hard to keep track of what's going on. I mean, even big, the Torch, .net, stuff like that, us. It's so hard to keep track of everything because so much is going on.
Okay, thanks, Lee. Rob, what do you think? Oversaturated?
Yeah, I think as far as like a sweet spot zone, I think that the best. I think that zone is pretty much where we were during the Monday Night Wars. WCW and WWE had 2 shows, one on Monday, one on Thursday. That worked just fine. And then you've got your pay-per-views.
No, that's fair. I think that's fair. I think going in at WWE is kind of looking at the NFL and going, well, they're filling up all these hours of content. Why can't we? And that's kind of being detrimental. I like that butter zone of about 2, maybe a 3-hour show, and then just a supplement show, and then that's all you got. And I think if they could get if all those companies could get together and keep this to about 6 hours, maybe 8, that would make things a lot easier. All right, we're gonna do our Bound for Glory. Pre-show. Basically what we're going to do is we're just going to take a few minutes and run down the card as we know it right now. We'll talk about this more in depth on Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here at ftwlive.com. It's going to be a lot of fun. Right after Impact goes off the air, we're going to go on the air so we can talk about Impact, Bound for Glory itself. This is the biggest pay-per-view of the year for TNA. And looking at this card, you can't help but you got to get kind of excited for a few of these matches. They should be pretty good. But we're just going to go real quick and do our predictions right now. We'll talk more in depth with you guys on Thursday, so definitely check us out there. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, ftwlive.com. It's going to be a blast. First up, though, Aces and Eights versus Sting and Bully Ray. If Aces and Eights win, they receive full access to the Impact Zone because that's how these things work. And if Sting and Bully Ray win, Aces and Eights will leave TNA forever because why not? Who's taking what?
Okay, I'm going to start.
Do they get like season passes or something?
I don't know.
They get from Disney
media.
Or something?
I don't know. I think they get media passes. Really, every time they want to go to TNA, they got to pay Universal Studios. So, like Claire, I mean, that's $80 a pop, and she's still going in there to yell at AJ.
Do they get the lanyards with their names on it? And
little photos.
They just walk around.
Photos with the bandanas. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm taking Aces and Eights because would they really kill this storyline at this point?
Yeah, I'm taking Aces and Eights because if you look at TNA's next pay-per-view poster, it has Aces and Eights on. So if they leave TNA forever, then it's going to be a good laugh.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah,
it's not my fault.
I'm saying for TNA, they should have put a spoiler alert on there.
I'm going to take Aces and Eights because if Lee's right about the poster.
Hang on, let me find it. Go on, you carry on.
It's hilarious. Mike, you agree with us?
Sure, I'll go with aces and eights.
I bet you will, yeah.
All right, Joey Ryan versus Al Snow. Once again, this is one of those things where, I mean, if Joey Ryan wins, he receives a full-time TNA contract. If he doesn't, I'm assuming he has to go away forever. I mean, Joey Ryan. I mean, why would... I don't know. This is one of those things where the booking is okay. It's just the storylines leading up to it. It's like, well, you're kind of tipping your hand, so now I just want to see the match. It's really... I mean, if Al Snow still has it. What do you think, Rob?
Probably gonna end up changing my mind on this, but for right now, I'm actually gonna go with Al Snow.
Ooh, Rob taking Al Snow. Okay. Lee, what do you have?
Weird. I don't know why you'd take Al Snow.
Nostalgia pick.
I've got to say Joey Ryan. You've just got to.
All right, and yeah, Lee, that's hilarious. It's the poster for Turning Point.
And because I can't pick,
and right there.
Because I can't see my way to picking a wrestler who looks like a porn star.
Or a porn star that looks like a wrestler. Ooh, Mike, who you taking?
Either or.
I'm going to agree with Rob and go with Al Snow.
Thank you, Mike.
The fuck is wrong with you? What's wrong with you two?
Mike doesn't watch TNA. This is like the worst endorsement I've ever
seen. Yeah.
Going with the guy I've heard of.
Yeah, we go with the guy I heard of.
As long as this is a Kennel from Hell match, I think.
I think you're in, yeah.
TNA TV Championship. Do you see Samoa Joe dropping the title literally 1 week, or no, week and a half since he won it?
Anybody carefully won't drop it.
No, I'm taking Samoa Joe.
Yeah, Rob's got him. Lee, you with Samoa Joe?
Well, Magnus, he's English. That's the bonus side, but there's not much else. So I'm gonna have to take Samoa Joe. But
all right, Mike, who you taking?
I'll go with Joe as well.
All right, that's fair. I don't know. I really think
since you already typed it on the doc, I don't want you to.
Let's go back and delete it. I'm interested to see how Magnus does in this match, just because I think it'll kind of pave the way for him going forward. TNA Women's Knockout Championship. Tara versus Miss Tessmacher. Who's walking out with the gold, Tara or Tessmacher?
I think Tessmacher.
All right, so Rob's taking Tessmacher. Lee?
I'm fed up with Tessmacher. I really am. But I'm not really sure if Tara... I'm going to hold off on my vote on that one. I'm not ready to decide. I'm going to decide after Impact.
Well... You're going to be on the show.
No, I am going to be on the show. Yeah, 4 a.m. my time.
Mean Greenwich time.
And 4 a.m. and I'm going out 12 hours drinking on Thursday daytime, so count yourself lucky.
Now, is 12 hours in England the same as 12 hours in America? Or is there like a conversion rate?
well, our conversion rate will be better than yours anyway, so like isn't it? So.
I'm taking Tara.
Like 13 hours for you?
Well, I could probably fit about 14 hours in the time that you take to do about 12 hours. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot of masturbation, but I'm glad you're able to do it. Mike, who are you taking, Tara or Miss Tessmacher? I'll give you an idea. Before you give your choice, when Rob gave his, the chat asked him if he was high. So who are you gonna go with?
I was gonna go with Miss Tessmacher, even though I don't know what she looks like.
Oh, I'll show you.
All right, so Mike takes Miss Tessmacher. Street Fight, Bobby Roode versus James Storm. The match I am so pissed that we got to see basically 3 times already. Roode versus Storm, who's going to win? I'm taking Storm.
Yeah, Storm.
All right, Rob's taking Storm. Lee, who are you taking?
If Bobby Roode wins, there will be so much hate on TNA. It's got to be James Storm.
All right. Mike?
Yeah, I think James Storm will win pretty decisively.
Hey, thanks for the analysis.
TNA Tag Team Championships. Hey, come on, he's out of his wheelhouse. He's doing the best he can. TNA Tag Team Championships. AJ Styles. Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. King Mo. I forgot. King Mo was going to be involved in this match. Do we see any involvement? I mean, how do we see this going on? I mean, do we really think that Bobby Roode, James Storm, and King Mo? I mean, do we think there's going to be like some kind of 3-way kind of feud going out of this, or do you see maybe some transition or something? I mean, do you think King Mo's going to be involved at all?
Yeah, King Mo might push Bobby Roode down again. That's so badass.
They don't need him. They don't need King Mo to do anything. They could have got rid of King Mo out of this. They don't need him for this. To be fair, I didn't even know who the fuck he was before he came into this match, so I really didn't.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is going to be one of those things we're going to talk about on Thursday. So, yeah, join us Thursday and we'll talk about whether or not King Mo is going to be involved, just because I see a little bit more of a glimmer this coming week as far as what's going on than what we've had so far. TNA Tag Team Championships. AJ Styles and Angle versus Chavo and Hernandez versus Kaz and Daniels. Who is walking out with the belt? Man, I really don't think Kaz and Daniels are going to take it. I think it's going to be down to AJ and Angle or Chavo and Hernandez, and Chavo and Hernandez have been on a tear recently.
I'm
I would
taking
say
Chavo and Hernandez because I need the points.
Yeah, I'm with you, Rob, but not for that reason. All right, so Lee, who are you taking?
This is another one I have no clue on right now. I'm waiting. I'm going to wait till Thursday.
Fine. Mike, who are you taking?
Who did Rob pick?
Chavo and Hernandez.
They sound good.
You do realize,
Rob, is that what you're doing?
Mike, you do realize that I've won the last 3 predictions for pay-per-views. I've won the last 3.
That means you're due to lose.
Like Sheamus was due to lose after 3.
Well, he's a jobber now, so I don't even want to talk about him.
It wasn't a job day.
All right.
I got all the points I could out of him, and then I dumped him off on you, and now he's a loser.
Oh, yeah, you dumped him off for me 98 points too soon.
Jeff Hardy versus Austin Aries for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Could this be when Austin Aries drops the title? I say yes.
Austin Aries, and fuck anybody in the chat who criticizes my pick.
Rob is going fanboy 100%. Fair enough. Lee, where are you going? You going with AA or are you going with JH?
Well, if this has got to main event, so the one issue they'll have, Rob, is that if Austin Aries wins, there's going to be no good feeling moment. There's going to be no, splashes of fireworks going off when Jeff Hardy wins. So it has to be Hardy for me. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think so. I think if it's a pretty good match, they could still do that. There won't be the confetti like they had when...
They're going to do that stupid handshake in the middle and hug.
Yeah, probably. Mike, you taking Austin Aries because Rob took Austin Aries?
I was going to take Austin Aries before Rob took Austin Aries.
Oh, so, okay, sure. Okay,
it's only because you don't like Jeff Hardy.
Oh, I like Jeff Hardy a lot, but I think he's too undecided. I don't know if they want to throw the title on him if he's unsure about if he's
I like Jeff Hardy just fine, especially if he's in a pool of his own blood.
I love how Mike just gladly sits there and goes, I'm not really too sure if they're ready to do this or not, or even, they might like this. You don't watch the bloody thing! That's what the hell amuses me.
All right.
I read a little bit about it here and there to be able to know what the top feuds are. And
he paces Rob, so he's able to, yeah.
Yeah, and I just mimic whatever Rob says about TNA, so I'm able to sound smart.
that will never happen. I'm really sorry. That will never ever happen.
All right, Lee.
No, not you. I'm not insulting you, Rob. I'm insulting Mike.
Oh, okay.
All right, moving on. Time for win, fail.
Women wrestlers aren't getting paid? Why do you do a job?
Here is your win.
You do any job,
and fail
is to fucking get paid!
Of the week.
Mike, what is your win of the week?
I got my fail of the week. My win of the week. Oh gosh, I don't even know. I guess my win of the week would have to go to the hot ending of Raw. With having that hot finish with Ryback and John Cena and all that. I thought that was really well done and built up some much needed intrigue for what's going to be happening in the next few weeks on Raw.
Okay. Lee, your win of the week. Go, Lee.
Yeah, I'm going to go with exactly the same one, but just to change it a little bit, I'm also going to
trying to sound smart like me.
Trying to sound smart. I don't need to try and sound smart. I've got a better accent than you have. Now, my other win of the week is probably Sheamus versus Barrett because that is a pay-per-view match waiting to happen. Wade Barrett looked good, very good.
Okay, awesome. Rob, your win of the week.
My win of the week is pretty much going to be even though there's been a little bit of heat over it, my win of the week is CM Punk decking a fan. People have to learn, whether you like the wrestler or not, you got to keep your hands off wrestlers. Otherwise, you're asking for what you get.
Yeah, it's just like a strip club, man. Win of the week for me. I got two. My first win is James Hornsby from BotchBot for the State of the WWE comic that he did, which was fucking hilarious. Where basically Vince comes out and essentially does what we all know he's doing backstage, which is just yelling at the crew. But at the end, he's just like, "So fuck you, people." And then Cole is sitting there in the crowd going, "Hey, thanks, Vince, for having us out there." He goes, "Fuck you too, Cole." Yeah, it was great. It was a solid comic. Yeah, botchbot.com. It's definitely a good supplement to this show. Wins of the week from the chat. Vince got slapped. Smojo versus RVD. It's CM Punk on the actual incident itself. Said, I think the whole situation
Breaking
sucks.
news.
Yeah, I think the whole situation sucks. Punk told WWE.com, it's an unfortunate, isolated incident. I was up in the stands, surrounded. Someone said, "Let's push him down the stairs," Punk explained. "I got hit in the ribs 3 times. I was getting shoved and I was getting punched. Then I started to get tagged in the back of the head. Unfortunately, I lashed out in the heat of the moment, and I apologize. I'm really glad nobody was hurt, or that you punched like a girl." This just stinks of WWE lawyers all over it. So, good on them for doing that. All right, fails of the week. Your fail of the week, go. I'm sorry, Joe's not on here anymore. Joe's not on this week. Go, Mike.
I think the CM Punk pushing is the obvious fail of the week, but I'm gonna go with something different here. My fail of the week is gonna be Vince McMahon coming out for the State of the WWE address and not saying that they're gonna go back to 2 hours for Raw. I was really expecting that.
That would have been huge. You really think they would? You were really expecting that?
Yeah. With the way that the 3-hour format's been tanking in the last few months, I really thought that they were going to come out and just pull the plug on it altogether.
So how do you spin that?
I don't know. I don't work there.
That's fair.
I'll point to the high number of injuries in the wrestlers and say, for the health and safety of our wrestlers, we've decided to go back to 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, he could be frank. He could be frank with the audience about it and say, the WWE universe, they voted or he say, I've read the tweets, read the touts, and people are demanding that Raw goes back to 2 hours, and he could come up with something. But I really thought they were going to pull the plug on it last Monday.
No, that's fair. I like Rob's point too. That just the health and safety of our wrestlers are going back to 2 hours. That's a pretty good idea. All right, Phil of the week, go Lee.
It had his moments too of not being able to throw a punch, despite being a boxer. Biting off the ear of opponents comes to mind.
So you're saying that King Mo should have gotten over by trying to bite off an ear?
No, I'm saying if you're a badass MMA person, you throw a punch, you do something else. Pushing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so what you're saying is because MMA is more badass than boxing, the initial hit should have been more badass than a shove? Exactly. Okay, I'm fine with that. I hate boxing, so I'm fine with that.
MMA rules wrestling then. Just to annoy you.
Okay, now you're just trolling, Lee. All right, Mike, you're failed. I'm sorry, did we already go to Mike?
Yeah, we went to Mike years ago.
All right, and we did Lee, we did Rob. All right, my fail of the week, besides Lee's fail of the week, is I'm with Chad. The Titus and Brodus dance. The Truth and Brodus dance segment on Raw. It was so terrible. Even when they started doing it, I was like, oh my God. And then Vince gladly interrupts him and basically says, "Get the hell out of my ring," which I thought was great. Other fails from the chat. A lot more fails than wins. Kofi fighting Miz for the title. No breakup feud for Jimmy's boom. Bubba the Love Sponge thinking he can make millions of dollars off the Hogan sex tape. I don't want to talk about that. CM Punk's holy shirt. Holy shit, that thing was ugly. Harrison talking. Come on. I seriously, I'm muting every 10 seconds so I can cough, and I'm trying to hold another one in right now. And Lee in general this week, man, they're just hating on us. All right, Mike, if people want to get a hold of you, how do they go ahead and do that?
You can follow me on Twitter at MJCupach. That's MJCupach. You can also check me out over at pwtorch.com. I review WWE Main Event and SmackDown for the webpage every single week.
There you go. And that is it. That's the show.
Hey,
You can check out
whoa. Where is my plug?
Lee, if people want to get a hold of you for whatever reason, how do they do that?
Well, now you've made it sound like a chore. I'm just going to say I'm at Wrestling News
Lee,
Source,
if people want to get a hold of you, and they know they do, how do they go ahead and do that?
Thank you, Harrison. That sounds a lot better now. You can go to at WN Source on Twitter. On the Twitter. What's wrong with you people? You can go to WrestlingNewsSource.com. You can go on Facebook.com/WrestlingNewsSource. You don't have to go and watch MJQ. I can never pronounce that properly. I can never pronounce it.
You can't pedophile either, so.
I can pronounce. I'm not discussing that until post show. Okay. Also, if you want to watch Mike, then go and watch To Catch a Predator on NBC.
And that's it. That's the show. Why not check out ftwpodcast.com for more information about us and how to get involved in the future?
I say we should make Lee pronounce pedophile on the air.
It's pedophile, not pedophile. Okay.
Thank you, Lee.
You don't like.
It's pedophile. Not it's pedophile. How do you not get that?
What was Mike? Real quick. What was the one you said in pre-show?
Pedestrians.
Yeah, pedestrians.
It's pedestrians.
Then why isn't pedophile? You don't pedal a bike, Lee.
Pedestrians, pedophiles. It's pedophile. That is what we use. It's a pedophile.
So because you use it in England, we should use it over here?
Yes, but you ruin the English language. You come up with all this shit-talking bollocks that we don't like.
Check out the support tab where you can donate, buy merch, as well as
screw the donate tag. The donations. That's what you need. The donate. Your language it's shit.
Link to us on
your own language.
Can I address something? Why
no,
I'm on
you
the
cannot
show
address.
this week?
No, you can't address anything on the show while you're on the show this week. No.
I listened to last week's show, and it was just bash Mike fest for the first 10, 15 minutes of the show.
That's because you suck.
Shots. And the one that hurt most of all was Lee saying that he was classier than I am. I just want everyone to know who's listening that right now I am doing this show wearing a tuxedo. That shows how classy I am.
So I'm wearing a CM Punk top. That's how good I am.
So that makes me classier than you.
No, it doesn't make you. It makes you worse. When did tuxedos come into fashion? About 1980.
You're wearing pants, though, right?
How do you know?
And you can rate us on iTunes and Stitcher. 4 stars, please. You can definitely check out our forum. Check out our new forum. Let us know what you think. It's in beta mode, so we want to hear feedback from you guys. Thank you, everyone in the live chat. You guys are awesome. Live chat Hooligan Strike again. We record every FTW podcast episode on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time at FTWLive.com. Lee, please tell me you're wearing pants.
Lee, for the record, women wear tops, men wear shirts.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're wearing a blouse next.
A blouse? No, it's a blouse. It is a blouse.
Oh God.
Oh, no!
Fuck's sake.
Oh, no! Blouse!